creepy, man. It's funny how certain words can remain hidden from your mind, no matter how blatant or obvious they are. One word came to me that night, lying there in the darkness alone, frightened and aware of a rotten change in the atmosphere. A thickening of the air, as if something had displaced it. As I heard the first casual twist of the bed sheets below, the first anxious increase of my heartbeat at realization that something was once again in the bottom bunk, that word, a word which had been sent into exile, filtered up through my consciousness, breaking free of all repression, gasping for air, screaming, etching and carving itself into my mind. Ghost. As this thought came to me, I noticed that my unwelcome visitor had ceased moving. The bed sheets lay calm and dormant, but they had been replaced by something far more hideous. A slow, rhythmic, rasping breath heaved and escaped from the thing below. I could imagine its chest rising and falling with each sordid, wheezing and garbled breath. I shuddered and hoped beyond all hope that it would leave without occurrence. The house lay as it had the previous night in a thick blanket of darkness. Silence prevailed, all but for the perverted breath of my as yet unseen bunkmate. I lay there terrified. I just wanted the thing to go, to leave me alone. What did it want? Then something unmistakably chilling transpired. It moved. It moved in a way different from before. When it threw itself around in the bottom bunk, it seemed unrestrained, without purpose, almost animalistic. For that thing lying there in the darkness, that thing which seemed intent on terrorizing a young boy, calmly and nonchalantly sat up. Its labored breathing had become louder. Now only a mattress and a few flimsy wooden slats separate my body from the unearthly breath below. I lay there, my eyes filled with tears, a fear which mere words cannot relate to you or anyone else coursed through my veins. I would not have believed that this fear could have been hated, but I was so wrong. I imagined what the thing would look like, sitting there listening from below my mattress, hoping to catch the slightest hint that I was awake. Imagination then turned to an unnerving reality. It began to touch the wooden slats which my mattress sat on. It seemed to caress them carefully, running what I imagined to be fingers and hands across the surface of the wood. Then with great force it propped angrily between two slats into the mattress. Even through the padding it felt as though someone had visually stuck their fingers into my side. I let out an almighty cry and the wheezing, shaking and moving thing in the bunk below replied in kind by violently vibrating the bunk as it had done the night before. Small flakes of paint powdered onto my blanket from the wall as the frame of the bed scraped along it, backwards and forwards. Once again I was bathed in light, and there stood my mother, laughing, caring as she always was, with a comforting hug and calming words which eventually subdued my hysteria. Of course she asked what was wrong, but I could not say, I dared not say. I simply said one word over and over and over again. Nightmare. This pattern of events continued for weeks, if not months. Night after night I would awaken to the sound of rustling sheets. Each time I would scream so as to not provide this abomination with time to prod and feel for me. With each cry the bed would shake violently, stopping with the arrival of my mother, who would spend the rest of the night in the bottom bunk, seemingly unaware of the sinister force torturing her son nightly. Along the way I managed to feign illness a few times and came up with other less than truthful reasons for sleeping in my parents' bed. But more often than not, I would be alone for the first few hours of each night in that place. The room where the light from outside did not sit right, alone with that thing. With time you can become desensitized to almost anything, no matter how horrific. I had come to realize that, for whatever reason, this thing could not harm me when my mother was present. I am sure the same would have been said for my father, but as loving as he was, waking him from sleep was almost impossible. Waking me, on the other hand, was no trouble at all, thanks to the nightmares. Chapter 4: Danger Overload. Strange mason here. The painted glass depicts some religious man, I guess. Oh no. Earthquake? Glass like in a church. Painted glass depicts a scene from the Bible. Another room. Just like the one before. Ah, what's there? No. Probably this chest with the disgusting stuff inside. Another one. This huge face in the water. A big pool. I won't go in there. The spider that lives in this net is nowhere to be seen. Who's making this sound? Caged in. There's no way out. What are these strange sounds? It's getting dark. These are strange, huge puppets. No. I keep running. Is this going endlessly? Baby crying. No! There's no way. They're coming from both sides. No! My greatest fears were realized in the winter. The days grew short and the longer nights merely provided this stretch with more opportunities. It was a difficult time for my family. My grandmother, a wonderfully kind and gentle woman, had deteriorated greatly since the death of my grandfather. My mother was trying her best to keep her in the community as long as possible. However, dementia is a cruel and degenerative illness, robbing a person of their memories one day at a time. Soon she recognized none of us, and it became clear that she would need to be moved from her house to a nursing room. Before she could be moved, my grandmother had a particularly difficult few nights and my mother decided that she would stay with her. As much as I loved my grandmother and felt nothing but anguish at her illness, to this day I feel guilty that my first thoughts were not of her, but what of my nightly visit there may do should it become aware of my mother's absence. Her presence being the one thing which I was sure was protecting me from the full horror of these things' reach. I rushed home from school that day and immediately fetched the bed sheets and mattress from the lower bunk. Removing all of the slates and placing in all desk, a chest of drawers, and some chairs which we kept in the cupboard where the bottom bunk used to be. I told my father I was making an office, which he found adorable, but I would be damned if I give that thing a place to sleep for one more night. As darkness approached, I lay there knowing my mother was not in the house. I did not know what to do. My only impulse was to sneak into her jewelry box and take a small family crucifix which I had seen there before. While my family were not very religious, at that age I still believed in God and hoped that somehow this would protect me. Although fearful and anxious, while gripping the crucifix under my pillow tightly in one hand, sleep eventually came, and as I drifted off to dream, I hoped that I would awaken in the morning without incidents. Unfortunately, that night was the most terrifying of all. Chapter 5 Urban Explorer. It's like a classroom roof. This is all wrong. A bunch of school books. The feeling that something's invading your privacy, even without ill will, is still disturbing. What's that creature there? You are good. Even if you don't know why they are here, you hold the greatest amount of fear for them. It's a triceratops. An old picture of what seems to be a religious man and a woman. The sounds of screams are awful. They are even worse when they are your own. The creature again. This is moaning coming from. There are holes. A pile of mattresses dirty and worn out. There's a piece of paper here. It reads, knock knock. They are playing a game with me again. Fuck off. It's behind the door. The Newspaper article is too aged to read. That face again. A writing desk with some school material. A big filing cabinet. Various books. Various school rules printed. What are these things? The lock on the door is broken. I don't think I can get in there. The floor. The courtyard. Plants grow through cracks in the floor. There's only a hole in the ground. A busted old machine of some sort. What are those? Each path is blocked. Strange lamps here. They look like ghosts. This place is like a maze again. Again, those ghosts. Oh. No! What do you want to do?